What's up, guys? So it's been quite a while since I did any type of filming, and mostly because nothing has really been going on the past couple months. We rewrapped the BRZ and stuff, and we took that out to a track day. I don't really have much footage for it. I wish I grabbed one of my cameras and vlogged it, but it was kind of like a really last minute thing to try and get the car done in time to go out there. So that's why there's no video on that. But today is exciting because we are going to be putting on a valved catback exhaust on my ISF. So I haven't really done any videos, I don't think, on the ISF because I haven't really done anything to it. I did coilovers to it and the Volk TE37s, and I did film that, but unfortunately that video had, I think it was no sound or something like that, which I don't understand why, so that video was a waste. So that was like 2 years ago. But today, I finally wanted to start doing some mods on the ISF, and I'll show you what I did in the engine bay, but we're going to be throwing on an exhaust. So let me show you that real quick, and then I'll show you guys what's in the engine bay. So I picked up an Xforce exhaust, which has the Verex valved rear mufflers. So Xforce makes two different options for this kit. It's either their Xforce exhaust with just their regular Xforce mufflers, or you can get the kit that has the Verex valved mufflers on it, which is what I chose. So you can see the little valve down in there. This has its own little harness and everything that plugs in. It has like a little remote, like a key fob remote control that controls the opening and closing. And I already looked at the wiring. It's super simple. And the hardest part, well, the longest part is just going to be wiring it through the car, and that's it. Besides that, I've done tons of IS exhausts, not ISFs, but IS 250s and 350s. I've done a ton of those over at work. So taking this off should be a breeze. Putting this on, it's going to be the same as just taking it off, except there's a couple, it's sectioned off into a couple more pieces. So we just got to make sure everything lines up right. But I've looked up the exhaust install for this. Luckily, someone else with an ISF, whoever did that video, thank you. I saw that these rear muffler hangers are a little bit of a pain to try and get them to line up. If I can get it out, there we go. This is a little bit of a pain to get it to line up and have like the muffler like sit in it and still have it in the hanger, because it sits kind of like that, so the muffler is going to be angled. I saw in the video that that's a little bit of a pain to try and get that to line up, but besides that, everything else is fine. All the fitment is good. The quality is really nice. Like I like, it's all like sturdy, like it's thick. It's a thick wall, so it should be good. I'm excited. I haven't shown you guys or talked about this car at all. So I did just a simple muffler delete on it, and that's how I've been using it for the past like year and a half or so. It sounds good. It's not too loud, so I like it. But there are times, and I don't know if it's just like the grown-up in me or me being more mature, but I feel bad for my neighbors sometimes when I start this up. Especially, I feel bad when I start the BRZ, because the BRZ actually shakes my door at my house when I go to start it up in the morning. But I feel bad, and plus sometimes cruising in the car, the muffler delete, it has some drone to it. So I figured if I was going to get an exhaust, I wanted a valved one, because just like any high performance car nowadays, they all have valved exhausts. So I want something luxurious but also sporty, so I can flip the valve closed and it'll be quiet, well, quieter. And then if I want to get on it, or if I'm just, you know, doing some spirited driving or whatever, I can just open up the valves and it's a louder exhaust. So that's what I wanted. This exhaust, compared to other exhausts, actually wasn't too expensive. Well, I should say compared to other exhausts, because anything for an ISF is $1,000 or up. So that's not cool, but coming from Subarus and BRZs that are like $500 for a good exhaust. But let me show you what I have under the hood too, while I kind of wait for the exhaust to cool down a little bit, because I just drove 30 minutes here. So let me show you what's under the hood. So with the whole exhaust, I ended up doing, if I can find the release, I ended up doing kind of an intake as well, or at least parts of intake. So it still uses the stock airbox, which I actually kind of like, because the stock airbox has a butterfly valve like flap right here, so 4,000 RPM and above, the butterfly opens up, and it basically the airbox is cut in half. Let's just say there's an upper section and a lower section. When you're just driving normal, it uses the lower or upper, I can't remember. It uses one of the sections, and it uses this inlet scoop that goes down into here and into the air box. It uses that. When you're 4,000 and above, when the butterfly valve opens up, it uses that other half of the air box along with this area too, so it sucks air in from the fender well area. So it uses all of the intake, all of the air box, and that's how it gets the more power or whatever. So instead of just a plastic intake with the resonator on the top, I got a nice titanium one that has nice silicone hoses. I went with, you can't see it, but it's an AFE drop-in filter for in here, so it's a little bit, I don't know, I guess more power, more performance than the stock air filter that was in there, but the stock air filter was completely covered in dirt and stuff, so it needed to be replaced anyway. And that was it. So intake, boom, intake on. The stock air box flows totally fine, so I'm not worried about anything with that. Once eventually, if I do headers and stuff like that, I'm going to do the RR Racing Stage 3 kit, which comes with its own intake and stuff, so that'll be later down the line when I finally do headers and stuff. But for now, that intake is totally fine, and it looks good. I like the way titanium looks. I really wish I was able to buy a titanium exhaust, but those are crazy expensive. Alright, so I figured I'll give you guys a before and after. It's funny because I'm trying to get the exhaust to cool down, and now I'm about to rev it. But I would give it a quick little rev so you could hear the muffler delete, and then once we get the new exhaust on, we'll do an exhaust clip of closed, open, all that stuff. Let me find a spot to put the camera, and I'll start this thing up. Alright, hopefully that sound clip came out pretty decent. I'm not using my big camera that has the external mic, I'm using my smaller camera. So hopefully that sounded pretty decent. Now let's just put it up in the air, and I'm going to start taking this thing apart. I'll catch back up with you guys probably when I have the exhaust pretty much out, because it's not really exciting to watch someone just take a stock exhaust out. Alright, I just got the stock one out. You can see my muffler delete. I just literally cut the mufflers off and just had it just hooked back up. It exited like around this area, so it wasn't terrible, but like it could have went all the way back here. I should have really just welded a pipe on, but it was a very quick thing that I did at work one day after work. But I got all of it off. All the stock stuff is off now, so now it's all the way up to the header. I'm gonna have to take these gaskets off, I believe. I'm not gonna touch them until I open up the box to see what the kit came with. And then the only pain in the butt really, well, all of these were all corroded on, so I had to cut one of them off, and the other ones I were able to get with a turbo socket. But then the other pain in the ass part was just this brace that's right here. This one goes right here, but then there's another one that goes back here, so I had to drop these shields down to get to the hardware for that one. So now everything's all open, everything's free. I have the hanger right here, and then the 4 hangers, there's 2 on either side, and then the other 2 right here. So I got those, and now I'm just gonna start piecing this thing together. I'm gonna see, I already know that these 2 are for the front. I already have them driver's side, passenger side. And what's kind of cool is that it actually says Xforce. I don't know if it'll focus or not. Yeah, it's not going to focus. There you go. Right here it actually says Xforce on this little bung. Not that that doesn't really matter at all, but at least they put some type of thought and detail into the exhaust pieces. So I think that's kind of cool. It's always just like the small little details that count. But let's just start test fitting everything up. I'm going to open up that white box over there because it has all the hardware in it. And I'm just going to start putting these pipes on. Alright, so it's probably been 45 minutes to an hour now. I just got the entire exhaust on. It was going to be kind of hard for me to, well, not hard for me, but instead of just showing you piece by piece, I figured I'd just get the whole thing on, since a lot of it was just all sectioned apart into different sections. I figured I'd just get the whole thing on and bolted in, and then I'll show you guys all afterwards. But I got the O2 sensors back in. All of it's all 100% mounted on. nothing's really hitting. It's getting close to here, but it's not hitting. So I'm interested to see if that, once it heats up and expands, I'm interested to see if it's gonna rattle or not. But now all we have to do is just do the wiring. So I still have just both the connectors hanging down for the muffler. And like I said, from that video that I watched, it was a pain in the ass to get that bolt to tighten up for these clamps, but I got them on. I couldn't really fit any tool up in this area, but I was able to get a smaller wrench to fit. So now it's on. It's all 100% bolted in. You know, I'll have to see it when it's on the ground, but it seems like these are gonna hang down, kind of. But I also don't remember what the factory mufflers did as well. And I kind of like how they're angled. They're like tilted like this instead of flat or just vertical. That's kind of cool. I think it's just for packaging. But you can see the electric motor up there. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to get the harness from the outside to the inside. So I think under this plastic cover, I'm hoping there's a what am I going to say? A rubber plug for the spare tire well that I'll be able to just run the wires through. So I'm gonna have to bring the car back down and then open up the trunk and check inside. I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see this, but I wired it up to here. I zip tied it to the brake line, and then it goes into this area. Like I said, actually the charcoal canister is right underneath this, and there's a grommet that I'll show you on the inside of the trunk that it just feeds right into. So now this one's the same thing. Where's the wire? The wire's right here. Goes around the heat shield, so it's away from the muffler, then it goes into this plastic cover again. So now I'm going to lower it back down, and I'll show you guys the grommet that I pushed it through. Just got to tape the grommet back up, put it back in, and then we can work on getting through the interior. Alright, my flashlight's dying, but that's the grommet right there that I just cut a small hole in, and I fed the connector down in. So now we just have the rest of the wiring just sitting right there for now. But now I gotta start taking apart some of this. I gotta take apart the back seats just to get the harness through. And we'll be well on our way to getting our valved exhaust work on this thing. Looks pretty cool. I'm glad that you can't really notice it that much, because I don't want it to be like too flashy. But alright, let's get the wiring done. Alright, so I have it routed up through there, and then it just goes straight up. Hang on. Goes straight up into there, goes up through there into through another grommet, kind of like hole. That then I took the back seat out. I took the bottom out, and I took the seat back, and I just leaned it forward so I was able to fish the wire through. And now I just have it. Let's see if I get the light to stay. I just have it coming out the bottom of the seat right now, because I totally forgot I have a dinner that I need to try and get to. So I'm just going to leave the wiring and the computer out, and I'm just going to plug it in just to make sure everything works before I go take the center console out and actually wire it through the rest of the way. But it's literally as easy as just you plug it into a cigarette lighter. It's a terrible video because of flashlight. Cigarette lighter, and then this one goes to the little like control module that it comes with, and then that's it. And then we're going to see if it works. So I'm going to go plug everything in, plug in the computer. I'm going to finish up putting the trunk stuff away. And we're going to see if the valves open and close. Alright, let's see if I can do this one-handed. Valve is closed. Sorry for the flashlight, but... And then hold the button. And the valve opens. Same with that one. And then hit the other button to close it. And they close. Looks pretty cool. So it works. So let's start it up. We'll hear how it sounds, and I'll bring it back up, check for exhaust leaks. Well, it smells like a new exhaust. And I don't hear any exhaust leaks. Yeah, no exhaust leaks. So we're good. It looks really nice too. It's so like silver compared to everything else. But let's listen. This is with the valves closed. So this is the quiet mode. So let's open it and see. Yeah, it gets a little bit deeper. Alright, so I'm going to bring it back down. I'm going to take it off of the lift, and then I'll do the final exhaust rev for you guys with the closed and open. Let's close it back up. Yeah, it makes it so much quieter. Hell yeah. Alright, let's bring it down. Alright, just like the previous exhaust video, well, exhaust clip, hopefully the mic on this is good enough to pick up the sound at least semi-decent on that, but that muffler actually does a lot when you have those valves closed. It sounds almost how the stock was, which I think is absolutely amazing. So now when I'm just cruising down the road, cruising on the highway, or even just first start up in the morning, have the valves closed, bone stock. Like, it literally, no joke, sounds bone stock. And then open those valves up and it actually gets decently loud. I'd say that's pretty much how loud the Muffler Delete was, which I am totally happy with. I didn't want this thing crazy obnoxious loud, and one day I want to do headers on this also, so I know the headers are going to make it a, like, probably ×2 loudness level. So I wanted an exhaust that wasn't going to be too loud, with the straight pipe mode. And then with those valves closed, it is super quiet. So I am more than happy with that. Fitment could have been, a little bit better, but it was a lower end price point for the exhaust for this car. And then I don't think I did some pretty good research, and I couldn't find any other exhaust for the ISF that was valved. I think the RCF and the GSF both have an exhaust that's valved, but nothing for the IS. So that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.